Coming up on Mountain News this morning, more developments are continuing to come out regarding a carjacking in Jackson County. And police are beginning to investigate the death of a man shot multiple times in Pulaski County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're just past 5:30 this Tuesday morning. And try saying Old Faithful Friend the Fog 5 times fast. Well, I can't. So let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
Old Faithful Friend the Fog. Old Faithful, never mind. I'm not going to get caught. In the meantime, check out the web cameras from around the region this morning. Like Madison has alluded to, fog is an issue across portions of eastern and southern Kentucky as you leave Hazard down to Jonesville and out through the Cumberland Valley. So pedal off the metal a little extra time into work and school this morning. 55 at Irvin. It's 59 at Jackson. By the way, the record low is 56. Something we'll have to pay attention as we head into tomorrow morning, that's for sure. We're one of the cool spots, as well as Wise and Clintwood, 54 and 52, respectively. Just a scattering of clouds on the overnight period, and high pressure is moving on in to provide a delightful Tuesday for you. So any fog, our faithful friend, burns off to a lot of sunshine, and a high today in Hazard up to 74. How long can this go? You're going to like the answer, I think. All the details with your ARH First Alert 7-day forecast coming up in a few moments. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. Hazard is saying goodbye to a longtime outstanding member of its community. Dolores Jean Jones died at the age of 87 on Sunday. She was a former sales associate at Walmart and a member of Consolidated Baptist Church. The Black Gold Festival Committee expressed their condolences as well and remarked on how dedicated she was to being a craft vendor for 43 years at the festival. We are learning new details about a deadly carjacking in eastern Kentucky. Tracy Clemens died August 10th after police say Michael Edwards was in the process of stealing her truck and she held on, falling to her death. We have learned that Edwards was on supervised parole and was a convicted felon. A deputy testified of the charges in court yesterday morning. This as a community is still reeling from the violence at a Jackson County convenience store. Phil Pendleton has more.
A jar is collecting money for Tracy Clemens' family in the Anvil T-Mart. That's where on August 10th, the 52-year-old died trying to stop a man from stealing her truck.
But it was shocking, you know, because that don't happen around here.
People are still coming to grips with the violence. The deputy sheriff told a packed courtroom of how Clemens ran out of the store and tried to stop Michael Edwards' actions.
Tracy Clemens cannot hold on any farther, and she subsequently drops to the ground at the exact time that the driver's side rear tire runs over.
Deputy Weaver next described a manhunt and how Edwards pointed a gun at people, stole items from a clothesline, and struggled with London police officers trying to arrest him.
He refused multiple commands to drop the weapon that he had and stop resisting arrest, and after a brief struggle, he was placed under arrest.
Edwards is a convicted felon, and the Department of Corrections provided 160 pages of records from his time in prison. He was on supervised release that was not supposed to end until November.
My understanding, he shot someone in the parking lot of Walmart in Manchester, Kentucky.
Now he's in trouble again, this time being held on a $1 million bond, while a grand jury will consider a new indictment against him. In Clay County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
A judge says there is probable cause for the grand jury to consider that indictment, and a decision on that should be made by October 1st. The 3 men charged in connection to the murder of Amber Spradlin appeared in court yesterday morning. Michael M.K. McKinney, Dr. Michael McKinney, and Joshua Mullins all entered not guilty pleas when arraigned on superseding indictments that added an 8th count of tampering with physical evidence. The arraignment was one of many items on the docket yesterday morning, including a motion to show cause, during which MK's attorney, Randy Martin O'Neill, was fined for contempt for citing false cases in a motion to dismiss. That motion has since been withdrawn.
It had no merit, and I think once the attorney figured out that he didn't have a basis for the motion that would have a chance of succeeding, he withdrew that. And then there was a bond motion previously filed on MK McKinney that was also withdrawn.
The men are set to appear for pretrial October 24th at TWP. 3 people were shot outside of a Kentucky courthouse Monday morning. The shooting happened outside of the Hardin County Judicial Center in Elizabethtown. Chief Jeremy Thompson said this was a targeted shooting and the victim who died was dating the suspect. A total of 2 women and 1 man were shot. Thompson said the victims were family members of the person who died. A person who heard the shots tells us what she remembers.
All I heard was gunshots, about 7, 10, 12 gunshots, and that's when we seen the body land, and the sheriff was telling us to go back into the courthouse.
Several schools went on lockdown as a result of the shooting. Police said the chase ended in a standoff in western Kentucky where they said the suspect, Christopher Elder, shot himself. Police said he was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Governor Andy Beshear posted on X encouraging people to pray for those impacted. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Department responded to a shooting over the weekend that left 1 man dead. Deputies were called to an apartment complex of Highway 90 in the Braunston community where they found Myron Flanagan dead from gunshot wounds. Deputies arrested Kevin Jarzgazewski, and he is currently being held at the Pulaski County Detention Center. Pulaski Sheriff Bobby Jones says an increase in crime can be attributed to people not wanting to work out their differences.
Like I said earlier, the problem is just the lack of people trying to work out their agreements without going to this extreme violence. That's the thing that we're dealing with right now. Is just they just seem to want to solve their problems with firearms, and that's not the solution.
The suspect has been charged with murder and possession of a firearm by a felon. A man was arrested after reportedly driving under the influence and crashing his vehicle. 40-year-old Matthew Wooliver of Williamsburg was arrested on Friday morning. Officers from the London Police Department say they were called to a crash at the intersection of Kentucky 192 and 229. They say Wooliver had left the scene. He was found and arrested, now facing charges of leaving the scene of an accident and driving under the influence. The Whitley County Sheriff's Office is looking for a man who they say has an active felony warrant to his arrest. According to a Facebook post, Travis Canada has a warrant after a domestic violence-related assault on Sunday in the Rockhold community. Officials say they do not know where he is. Anyone with information on where he might be is asked to contact the Whitley County Sheriff's Department. The man who was charged with assault following a shooting that led to schools going on lockdown was in court yesterday. Officials with the Wolfe County Circuit Court Clerk's Office say Pedro Teresi's motion hour was postponed until September 16th. The shooting happened back in March, which led to a manhunt of Teresi's and also to Owsley, Lee, Breathitt, and Wolfe County's schools going on lockdown. 3 people are behind bars after police executed a narcotics search warrant in Campbell County, Tennessee. The search warrant was conducted last Friday at a home in the Morley community. Deputies with the Campbell County Sheriff's Office found meth, firearms, and drug paraphernalia during the search. Amanda Jean Campbell, Ethan Campbell, and Austin Lee Muse were taken to the Campbell County Jail. A Barron County woman is facing charges after police were notified about her trying to crawl under a fence to gain access to a storage facility. It happened Sunday night when London police officers found Christy Johnson in close proximity to the original call and observed was manifestly under the influence. Police later found out that Johnson had an active warrant for her arrest. In Pulaski County, firefighters say 1 person was hurt after a go-kart crash. Officials with the Somerset Fire Department shared these photos on social media. Somerset fire crews say they responded to a scene near Pulaski County High School where the driver of a homemade go-kart was hit by a car. At least one person was flown from the scene and taken to the hospital. Crews in Rockcastle County worked to put out a house fire. It happened just after 9:30 Sunday night on Sinking Valley Springs Road in Mount Vernon. When crews arrived, they found a fire coming from one of the windows. Firefighters say they had to use about 1,000 gallons of water to put it out. No one was hurt. No one was home at the time of the fire.